Hello, my dear esteemed patrons. I'm back here with new content, just an idea that I share with my students about practicing chords and chord progressions in cycles. So, the cycle of fourths, or in major seconds, in intervals, whatever. So let's start demonstrating, because then it makes more sense. So for each quality of chords, if you're stuck, like if you think C major 7, and then when we first learn this chord, it's normal, natural that we first think of shapes, right? We learn, the first one that I remember learning was this one here, C major. Then we learn, whatever, if you D major, then you play like the same shapes, right? D major. And then with this set of strings here, from the A to the B string. And then the one that I remember the most learning for a C major with the bass on the E string was this shape here. C major, C major. Now with the set of strings 2, 3, 4, 6, skipping the A string. So, just with those two sets of strings, you can do a lot already. You can actually cover the whole neck of the instrument, just alternating the bass being on either the A string or the bass being on the G string. So let's do, just like, since I'm saying major 7, let's do a cycle of major 7s on the cycle of fourths. So C major, F major, B major, B flat major. So that's the whole cycle. That's 12 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. So, and see, I didn't move my hands too much. I moved more than I wanted to, because I wanted you to stay with those two shapes that I demonstrated. This guy here and this guy here. So, C major. And again, let's say, if you want to practice rhythm at the same time, sometimes it's good to practice isolating to just one thing, and sometimes it's good to multitask, right? So if you want to practice a bossa nova rhythm, so we can. Back home. You might have noticed, well, this shape here, when you do, it might have looked like I changed the concept when I played the E major here, but I did not change it, so we're using two open strings here. So yeah, so what did I mean that I moved, I didn't use the shapes exactly the way I wanted to, and I'll show you where. Here it's a good example. I think it would make more sense to go from B flat to E flat instead of repeating this thing here, of like repeating the exact same shape. Usually that's hard to say. Yeah, usually it's not the best option, because you're not really considering anything about the voice leading, right? You're just stacking like Control C, Control V. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's the way to go. But I wanted to do this guy here. See, I think. Right. And actually, see, I've been playing back to what I said initially about the shapes. Even as you grow up as a player, you get better. You can also think of shapes as well, right? I mean, I have been using. I'm saying this because I have been using this guy here a lot. Just a cool voicing for E flat major 7. So instead of playing 1, 3, 5, 7, I'm just playing 1, and then the major 7 is the open D string, and then the major 3rd is open G string, and I'm repeating a D on top. So and you can play G on top. So, anyways, so yeah, let me do the same thing now, but now without being stuck to the same shapes. Let me just play the shapes that come to my mind right now. So let's say C major, inversion. the same cycle, just major 7 chords in the cycle of fourths, but with some hipper shapes. And it's ironic how I said that sometimes, the most often, repeating the exact same shape, Control C, Control V, it's usually not the best option, but I did it right now and I loved it, and I don't care. So it's, when did I do it? I did, oh, I think it was here. It was close to here. No. Maybe, yeah, it was from G flat. I played this guy here to B flat. From G flat to B major. I played the same. And I think at that time, see, who am I to try to analyze right now? The process when you're thinking about, I mean, sometimes it's just a finger moving. Sometimes you hear it in your head, sometimes you're thinking about the theory. What I analyzing it after the fact, I think I was playing, like trying to keep this little movement thing here, so I kept the E on top, you know. Always little movement, right? When it got here, maybe I got tired of it, and I was like, okay, now we need to repeat the same. And lots of players use that type of like stacked the same. I'm doing this because I'm thinking of Herbie Hancock. I'm also quoting him. I read it somewhere, or maybe I watched an interview with Herbie saying that when he plays, sometimes he lets he's guided by his hands, sometimes by his heart, sometimes by his brain. And I think that's brilliant, because that means that you don't have to always do the same thought process. Okay, so now if you do the same thing with whatever minor 7 chords, you know, then you could, let's start with what I'm going to start with the first shape that I learned for a C minor 7. Boom, that's the first one that I learned with those sets of strings 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one that I remember learning first was this guy here. So 2, 3, 4, 6. Once again, skipping the A string. So those 2 shapes, most of you already know them. So we can do the side. Right? Sounds like music, maybe. Bossa. Back 12 chords. So, and notice as well when I'm playing this shape here, there are many different ways to finger this thing. So it could be the first thing that I demonstrated was this guy here, right? Starting finger 1. However, every now and then, depending on where your fingers are coming from and going to, you can play, instead of playing like that, you can use a bar with finger, like play the bass note with middle finger, which I'm not going to point at you, and make the bar with the finger 3. Sometimes that will be the best choice. Sometimes it will be, depending if you're down here, you know, doing a G minor, maybe just a bar with the first finger will be, then it opens up your other fingers to play other extensions, right? So now, just to close it up before, of course, and then you can expand, you can do that with other types of chords. Do whatever you want. But let me do the cycle of the minor 7 chords, but with more colorful, whatever happens. Like so. Just see mine. subject. Ending chords, you know. Always, I mean, if you're playing like whatever, you're playing the key of C and you'll be there, blah blah blah. Maybe you go to the 4, whatever, and then you end in C. I don't know. I kind of like trying to introduce some wrong sounds, you know, because the world is spinning. You never know where it's going. So here I'm the one that I wanted to finish with right now. It was this guy here, just C major 7, but I'm playing with the bass on with the G on the bass. Very simple, right? Just the triad, the triad with the minor 7 dominant. However, I'm playing the minor 7 and the major 7 stacked next to each other. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it makes much sense, but it sounds good. Therefore it does make sense. I'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe to this thing. I only have a few patrons and I'm very grateful, and I'm gonna keep posting, and make sure you can request material, blah 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 later.